So, hello everybody. My name is Philipp Pamsdorfer. I'm from the company NOACK. We would like to take today the opportunity to present NOACK as a company, explain a little bit what we are doing. We also have at the moment some open positions, which will be explained more in detail afterwards. Let me start by saying something. Okay. Yeah, let me say something about myself. So I also started at BOKU some years ago, food and biotechnology, and then I did the master. It was already the master for food technology and science. Yeah, after my studies, I joined NOACK, and now I'm part of the agro-food diagnostic department. So you will see then later we have different departments. Where I'm responsible for part of our activities and our products. So let's jump into it. Yeah, what is NOACK? Our core activities is technical marketing and sales. What technical marketing is, or what we understand under technical marketing, we will explain more in detail, because in my opinion it's not always clear and not everybody means the same by the term of technical marketing. But very, very basic, we are buying products and then we are distributing and selling them. So we generate our turnover from sales. We do not produce anything, but the sales and technical marketing term is quite a big topic. So there are going a lot of different things going into that to be successful in sales and also to market the products as they should be. But later on a little bit more to that. Our headquarters is in Vienna, and our territory where we are active in is Austria, including Austria, and then Eastern Europe. So this means we are active with subsidiaries in 10 different countries. So you can, when you think about the European map, from Poland down south to Bulgaria, here we have local organizations with local people, and our 4 departments are represented in each of these subsidiaries in each of these countries. We are around 140 people, so this number is always a little bit changing. But important is, as I said, the headquarters in Vienna, so the head office is here, and yeah, we are working together with 45 different suppliers in total, split up over the different departments we will look into. These are usually most of the time big names in the different industries. We have about 40 years of experience. So around 1980, the company was founded. They started in animal nutrition, animal feed, so feed additives. And then over time, the company grew. So we have at the moment 4 different departments. One would be animal food and feed. The other one would be agro-food diagnostic. The third one, veterinary diagnostic or animal health. And one additional where we are summarizing instruments, which is called analytical instruments. So the products we are selling are all going into this safety from farm to fork statement. This means the product's about to increase performance, about to increase quality of the product. And yeah, this is something we will look into now. So coming back to the term of technical marketing and to understand a little bit our role in the whole process. So you see, NOACK, we see ourselves as a link between producers of certain, let's call it kits, let's call it products, and the customers on the market. So our job is to be in contact with the customer, to offer service to the customer, and position the product in the right way on the market. So this means the technical marketing aspect goes in the direction of allowing the people, understanding the product, understanding the customer, and offering the customer not only a list of products, but also help them to find the right solution for them. So this is also how we are selecting our products in our portfolio. We have no catalog products. This means no bulk products. Like in the laboratory, when you think about the laboratory, we do not sell any plastic consumables. We do not sell any bulk acids and stuff like that. So what we are focusing on are really specific products for specific problems, and usually with the additional benefit of getting a better product in the end, getting a faster result, an advantage for the customer. So who are our customers? Basically, when you think about the food industry, everybody. So we have a very wide portfolio in order to serve everybody in the food industry, but also the service labs and the feed labs. A big other part in the animal feed department are feed mills, farms, and meat integrators. So here we are talking about feed optimization and so on, but we will go into this in detail. And also a part of our customer group are veterinary institutes in the different countries, veterinary labs, and the authorities, which are part of that. So let's get to the next slide. Yeah, so what is the agri-food diagnostic department doing, and how can you imagine this? This is a rough overview of the main product groups we are selling to the food industry. And the service labs, this means state labs, contract labs. So we cover the basic microbiology. We cover some kind of lab equipment, but not so specific. A big part is mycotoxin testing, GMO testing. So this residue testing in crops can, as mainly we talk about corn and wheat. Antibiotic residue testing, different test formats. So antibiotic in milk, antibiotic in meat, all this kind of testing. So here we are strongly in the dairy. Food allergen testing has become a quite big topic over the years now. Hygiene monitoring and hygiene control. So we also have different solutions. And pathogen testing with the technology of PCR. So here we talk about PCR instruments, we talk about PCR kits, and or ELISA. So this is roughly the main topics. We have many other products, but these are the main things. And as already mentioned before, here we're covering the entire food industry. So there's most of the time in the different countries, in these 10 countries, we are in with some of the products, at least with one product at most of the industry. So the next department I already mentioned is the veterinary diagnostic department. So this is based on two technologies, I would say, PCR and ELISA. So here we are talking about testing animals, testing the health of the animal, the presence of some kind of disease. So this can be notifiable disease like BSE, everybody knows. Emerging disease like African swine fever is the moment a big topic. Some economical relevant disease, or zoonotic disease, tuberculosis, salmonella, and so on. and the other part are auto vaccines. So these are really specifically designed vaccines which are can be specific to a farm. So you have a farm, there's a certain pathogen present, and auto vaccine means that you are taking this pathogen and are creating a vaccine specifically for this situation you find at this farm. This helps, obviously, if you know you have a certain pathogen, I'm creating my, let's say, tailor-made vaccine. It leads automatically to the reduction of antibiotics and the use of antibiotics, because I can really target specifically what is present here. The next department would be the analytical instruments department. This also summarizes some bigger instruments you find in laboratories. Most of them are based on near-infrared spectroscopy, measuring the, I would say, basic parameter like water content, fat content, protein, and so on, in different formats. So this can be a handheld, but this can be also a tabletop lab equipment, or what becomes also more and more interesting for the customer, and I would say inline equipment, so you can measure really all the time in real time your production process. And for instance, when you think about cheese production, what is the water content in my cheese when it comes out of the press, or fat content, and so on and so on. So you see here also some industrial applications. These are just selections. It can be, yeah, fat content, as I said, the humidity, protein, and so on. So now we'll hand over to Stefan Buchsbaum, part of the animal feed department, and he will talk a little bit more about the animal feed department, where we are also at the moment looking for somebody.
Good, thank you, Philip. My name is Stefan Buchsbaum. I am technically still studying at the BOKU, writing my master thesis on the Institute of Animal Nutrition. But yeah, it's a bit difficult during a full-time job to do this. When we talk about the department animal feed, just a few things front up what we are not doing. When I tell to my friends, okay, I'm working in an animal feed company, the first thing that is coming up is, oh, you're working with antibiotics. We are not selling anything like this at all. And the other thing, what we do not sell is this finished bags of feed that you can buy at Lagerhaus. So for us, animal feed usually means feed additives. This is something that's added in the feed mill at a very small quantity, so between 50 grams to 25 kilograms per ton of finished feed. All of our products are or were innovative solutions. Some of them are already 20, 25 years old, but we, and especially our suppliers, are still quite proud that even if a product is 20, 25 years old, it's still considered the gold standard or the benchmark of the industry. When you sell something, it's very important that the product you're selling is really working, especially because the products we're selling are not cheap. So we're only working with products that have a long history in science and where we can be 100% sure that they are really working. All of our products add a real benefit for the farmer, for the animal, for the consumer. On animal level, most of the products are targeting something like the digestibility and followed by health and fertility. When we talk about digestibility, the most important product is feed that you add to that the animal can better digest it and can get out more nutrients from the feed. And in the end, it means that you can maybe reduce the feed and to get a cheaper production costs. When you have a better digestibility, which means that the animal takes out more nutrients from the feed, means that there are less nutrients left for pathogens in the digestive tract. So by this, you can increase the health. And we also have products that increase directly fertility or increase the resilience. Resilience is a term, means how can an animal deal with stress situations. For example, now when summer is coming, to support them during heat stress or when they are at a high stocking density. And what we can also do together with our suppliers, especially when we talk about very big customers, is that we develop together with them a recipe and can mix it to their needs and in a constant quality. After these 4 departments, we just want to sum up again a little bit the customer structure. In agri-food diagnostic, it's everything related testing in laboratory in the entire chain, from the raw material to the finished food. It doesn't matter if it's dairy, if it's beverages, if it's meat. Also, we're working with state labs like AGES, with contract labs, private labs, and also universities and institutes. Vet diagnostics is more or less targeting the same, but just for us, the borderline is always when the animal is dead, then it's agro-food, and as long as the animal is living, all the test solutions we're selling is in the veterinary diagnostics. So also here, our customers are vet labs, state and private. Again, AGES is an important customer for us. Universities, so the VetMed Uni is a customer of us, and also larger meat producers have that testing solutions in the slaughterhouse. Analytical instruments can be used everywhere where you need a quick check of what is in the product. So if it's in the lab of a cheese factory, or it can also be, for example, when you have a product and you want to sort it, for example, okay, a product with a higher protein content goes in this silo, with a lower content goes in the other silo. Animal feed, our customers are feed mills, maybe you know Garant. We are also working directly with large dairy farms, with pig and poultry meat producers, with fish farms, premixes, and also we're working together with independent advisors. Maybe you can see that there is a lot of overlapping in our customer structure. And this is what we consider as our biggest strength, because we can offer like a total solution. For example, the agri-food diagnostic department can sell a testing solution for mycotoxin, and the feed department can sell the same feed mill a toxin binder. So that's where we see where we can, in cooperation with the departments, where we can increase the business. In the animal feed department, our goal is to achieve a healthy feed, and therefore in the later stage a healthy food. So together with our suppliers, our goal is to reduce and maybe be able to work without antibiotics in the future. Why is this important for us, or for everybody at the end? More healthy animals means if less animals are sick, you automatically have a better animal welfare. And especially when you think about what's going on with all these NGOs that are active in this field, it's quite important when you're working in industrial farming that you work on measures to improve this. For the farmer, for the owner itself, it's important to have a good feed efficiency, to have the highest output at a given input, to reduce the cost for medicine, to achieve a higher profit. What's also a very important point, and something that you most probably didn't consider, is a healthy animal also means that you have happy workers and farmers, because they have less worries about the sick animals. The thing is in the countries where we are working, labor costs nothing. So a worker there gets 200-300 euros per month, and he's working in a barn with thousands of sows the whole day. And you can really improve his work if less animals are sick and he has less job to do. And in the end, if we have more healthy animals, it's also better for the consumer. And I would like to present you a project that we are currently working on. It's omega-3, an essential nutrient. When you think about omega-3 in human nutrition, it's a common topic. So there is always a discussion, okay, where is in which oil you have more omega-3 fatty acids and what is good and what is bad for us. And it is an agreed knowledge that omega-3 is something good for human beings. But when you think about animal nutrition, in no of these recommendation tables for animal feed, there is no omega-3 in this. And usually in animal nutrition, fat is a bad thing. So you don't want to have too much fat in your feed. But I want to tell you the story how we came to this product or how this product was developed. The company we're working here together is Valorex. It's a French company, and the idea behind this company or the reason why it was founded was that 25 years ago, a dairy farmer in France observed something. It was every year in spring, his cows went out on the pasture and eat the fresh spring grass. And everything was fine. The milk production went up, the fertility of the cows was good, they got pregnant. And then he was curious why this was just in spring during the short period, and over summer and autumn, this effect went away. And he was investigating a little bit and checking on this grass, and he found out that this fresh spring grass had a very high content of fat, and this fat had 70% of omega-3. So he recalculated, and his cows in spring were having an omega-3 intake of 200 to 300 grams a day, which is a lot. And actually he observed the same beneficial effects on health that we know from human. So his idea was to mimic the effect of this omega-3 in the grass. And after a lot of trials and a lot of how to do it, he tried different raw materials to supplement this. And at the end, the product that came out is called EasyLin. It's a selected linseed with a very high omega-3 content. It's with a very special process, we make it to a very high bioavailability, because this linseed, linseed lionsalmon has a lot of fat, and especially when you think about ruminants in cows, fat in the rumen is something bad. So we needed a very special process to make this fat available and not to harm the fermentation in the rumen. And what we see now, over all animal species, doesn't matter if it's dairy cows or sow, we see that especially when you're working at a very high performance, that you maintain fertility and you maintain health. And the reason why it's called EasyLin is because it makes farming more easier. These effects have a very long scientific history. Last year, Valorex finished a study over many years, over 8,000 cows or something like this in whole France. And they found out that with this omega-3 supplementation, when you feed the mother with this omega-3, you see the effect still at the next generation. So also the daughter of these cows have then a higher performance. And what we also know is when you have a specific fatty acid in the feed, it accumulates in the product. And by this, we are able to produce, for example, eggs, milk, and cheese with a very high omega-3 content. And it is also already proven by Valorex that this kind of products have a beneficial effect on the health of consumers. So here's just one paper to show you what they are doing. So this Pierre Weil that you're seeing, that the first author, he was basically the founder of Valorex. He was the guy who observed the cows eating the fresh spring grass. Good. Let's now come to what NOACK is looking for at the moment, or already for a long time. We would need a technical sales manager for monogastric. What does this mean? What would be your job? Technical sales support for our local teams. This means our teams are out in the field, they are in direct contact with the customer, and they are always coming up with questions or that derive from their work or that they get from customers that we don't know yet. And then your job would be to find the right answer to that, and also maybe later on to join our local sales representatives at the customer and explain the issue. In this, it's important to have close cooperation with our supplier. As Philip already mentioned, we consider ourselves as the link between producer and the final customer. And your job would also be kind of a product management during the whole life cycle. So positioning the product at the beginning when it's new, and then also to develop kind of a strategy how to sell it by developing tools to help the sales of the product. What should be your profile? We would like to have somebody who wants to learn how modern animal nutrition is working and gives a value to farmers and consumers. What's kind of important is that you already know, at least in some way, how a farm operates. Why is this important? At the end, our final customers are practical guys working on the field, working on the farm. And if they find out that at the end you have no idea what you're talking about, they don't take you serious. And especially in this, it's very important that you know what you're talking about and they respect you and respect your opinion, and that's also the key to be successful. As it's called the technical sales manager, and you should answer technical questions, you should also be able to explain complex topics in an understandable way, to make things easy and understandable. And of course, if we're talking about this position, you should have a good knowledge of monogastric nutrition. One remark here, we totally understand that an expert is not coming right from the university. So we are really looking for people who are willing to learn, and those guys will get the chance to grow into this position. What is our offer? What is NOACK offering? Working in an international environment, as Philip already said, from Poland down to Bulgaria, and in feed we are also active in Russia. There is no business as usual at NOACK. Every day is different. You never know what our guys are coming up with, what questions are coming, what issues are arising. In these different countries that we are having, you will see and learn a lot about how animal farming and food industries is working. Looking over the borders of Austria is really giving an additional side of agriculture. And also because we're really covering everything from a small family farm in Poland with 20 cows up to a meat integrator with 20,000 cows, or a big milk producer in Hungary with 3,000 cows. So you really have the whole spectrum. Sometimes the structure is similar in Austria, and sometimes it's totally different. And that's really the interesting thing, also coming from the different histories the countries are having. And that's really interesting to see how this developed and is still developing. In NOACK, you can and also you should take initiative and responsibility. So that's something kind of what we are expecting, but also what gives you freedom to do. If you have something you like, you can dig into that and can be professional in that. We are still kind of a family business with a flat hierarchy and fast decisions. And just to mention, because on all these job adverts, you can only see, okay, the minimum Kollektivvertragsgehalt, blah, blah, blah. We pay more than the Austrian average within the industry. At the end, we want to give you an overview, okay, what does it mean working for NOACK? When you're in Vienna at the office, as everywhere, you will have coffee with your colleagues, you will have meetings online, face-to-face. As I already told you, you will respond to the questions of customers, of suppliers, of our local sales teams. When you're selling something, when you have trucks on the road, there is always something happening. The product, there is a claim on the product, or the truck driver doesn't find the destination or whatever. So also troubleshooting together with logistics, supplier, and the local team. It is expected that you're traveling, so preparing these trips and also following up them later. And when we talk about new products, to develop kind of sales concepts for them, how to place them on the market, which tools, and also planning workshops for our local teams to make them familiar with the product. Traveling on a travel day, yeah, how often do we travel? It depends a little bit. So for example, I am responsible for all sales in Serbia and Slovakia. In Serbia, we have quite a new guy in sales. He's with us for 1 year, and usually I'm flying to Serbia every 6 to 8 weeks. And because it's by plane and it's quite expensive, I usually stay there for 4 to 5 days to make it quite efficient, also to have enough time to work with him. When I go to Slovakia, everything close to Bratislava usually is just a 1-day trip. You go there in the morning by car, you come back in the evening. So it depends a little bit on the destination and where you have a project, how often you will go, and how long one trip takes. When you arrive at the beginning, you always have a meeting with the local team to discuss, okay, what are our goals? What do we want to discuss with the customer? What should be where should we come? Then you will visit the customer. You will see a lot. Most of them are very happy when they can show their farm, their barns, their structure to somebody coming from Austria. They're always quite proud of that. And you will see and learn a lot. And afterwards, also kind of a follow-up preparation. What should be the next steps together with the customer, together with our local sales team. So yeah, that was it from our side. Many, many thanks. And if you have questions, drop them in the chat box or unmute your microphone, whatever you want. Thank you.
Vielen, vielen Dank. Dürfen die Fragen auch auf Deutsch gestellt werden? Oder?
Natürlich dürfen die Fragen auch auf Deutsch gestellt werden.
Okay. Mal schauen, ob was kommt von den Fragen. Ich hätte so eine generelle Frage, weil es mich auch interessiert. Gibt es auch die Möglichkeit, dass man vielleicht Bachelorarbeiten oder Masterarbeiten mit NOACK oder bei NOACK schreibt? Hatten wir sowas schon mal in die Richtung? Oder vielleicht so
Nein, hatten wir
im
noch nicht.
Laborbereich vielleicht?
Weil dadurch, wie gesagt, die Sache ist, wir produzieren nicht. Das heißt, wir haben in dem Sinn kein wirkliches Labor. Die Kunden oder unsere Kunden sind Labors in der Regel. Das heißt, Qualitätsmanagement im weitesten Sinne, im Food zum Beispiel. Das heißt, Praktika, ja, es ist fraglich, was man will. Wir sind sehr, wie gesagt, wir sind am Ende des Tages ein Handelsunternehmen, das zwar sehr starken Fokus auf das hat, aber wenn man jetzt ein klassisches Praktikum im Labor sucht, dann ist man bei uns leider falsch.
Okay, ja.
Eine Sache dazu vielleicht noch von mir. Was schon passiert und immer wieder vorkommt, war bei uns im Feed Department, wenn es dann darum geht, wirklich neue Produkte zu entwickeln, war es schon in der Vergangenheit so, dass unsere Mitarbeiter mit den Lieferanten halt zusammengearbeitet haben und dann dort zum Beispiel im Rahmen ihrer Doktorarbeit dann an der Produktentwicklung mitgearbeitet haben. Aber das war dann eben eher mehr mit dem Lieferanten in Zusammenarbeit als mit NOACK selbst.
Okay, ja.
Vielleicht noch ein Punkt dazu. Wir hatten natürlich schon, das war jetzt vor kurzem eine Zusammenarbeit mit einer Fachhochschule. Allerdings ging es hier eher um einen kommerziellen Aspekt, nämlich die Transportkosten. Das heißt, man müsste sich das quasi immer anhand der Diplomarbeitsfrage bzw. der Masterarbeitsfrage sich anschauen, worum es geht. Also grundsätzlich ist es schon möglich, aber es kommt halt immer drauf an.
Genau, ja. Das ist gut zu wissen. Ich dachte, ich frage mal nach, weil das ist, was mich auch als momentan noch Bachelorstudentin interessieren würde, ob das prinzipiell möglich wäre bei Ihnen. Ich habe gesehen, es gibt jetzt eine Frage im Chat. Können Sie die auch sehen? Von der Clara Kaltenbeck.
Es ist beides. Also wir haben die meisten Kollegen hier bei uns sind in Vollzeitbeschäftigung, aber wir haben natürlich auch Teilzeitkollegen. Allerdings kommt es eben immer auf die Position jeweils an. Ist jetzt zum Beispiel in der Buchhaltung wäre es kein Problem, Teilzeit zu arbeiten. Wenn man jetzt im Verkauf tätig ist, wird es vielleicht ein bisschen schwieriger werden, aber auch das müsste man sich immer von Fall zu Fall anschauen.
Ich hoffe, es war informativ für alle Interessierten und ja.
Ja, ich danke auch für den Einblick in die Firma. Es hat wirklich einen schönen Überblick gegeben, um was es eigentlich geht, was es teilweise für Abteilungen gibt. Und dann auch eben auch am Ende die Jobbeschreibung fand ich wirklich super, weil man sich wirklich vorstellen kann, okay, wie schaut das aus, bei NOACK zu arbeiten. Das hat mir wirklich sehr gefallen. Dann erstmal vielen Dank.